Group A over and done with as we now enter Group E. For those of you that weren't here a few minutes ago, just as a little reminder, it's going to be Sweden, the UK, France, and Spain. Four of the pretty notable countries, I think that's fair to say. Do you think, Derek?
Yeah, a real European powerhouse here that we have in this global games group. It's, I think, kind of expected when you have 4 European teams, as it seems to be still, even with a very strong performance from China in the global finals this year, pretty universally agreed upon that Europe is just about the strongest region, especially when you have such fantastic teams like the United Kingdom thrown in there, technically, I suppose, with Ball Control and Dead Draw coming in very, very strong. Dead Draw so nearly qualifying through to being a Grandmaster after his very strong performances at Seoul and in particular Masters Tour Bucharest. I was personally very sad to not see him get through, but I think he is still an incredibly strong competitor.
Yeah, me too. The Bucharest series in particular, in which he was eliminated, was a real gut-wrenching one to watch, if I remember rightly. Alongside a couple of the other things going on at Bucharest. For Sweden, who are also in this group, we had Orange, who unfortunately was not able to re-qualify to Grandmasters. And as Lorinda pointed out to me earlier, during the pre-show, we also have Falcane, who took Orange's spot. Falcane from France in GM. So we got a lot of rivalries happening in this group.
That's right. What was it? Falcane who took his spot, and then Swid, who basically at the end knocked him out of Grandmasters by winning.
Oh, the 1-2 punch, right?
Yeah, exactly. But then on the other side, we don't want to brush over Spain as well, a very, very strong region. And I think one of the biggest disappointments, I suppose you could say, that they don't have a player in Grandmasters. And I would say it's probably fair to say at the moment that Akawanda and Zuhex are probably the 2 premier Spanish players. I'm glad to see them get through to the Global Games team, with Zuhex picking up a very well-deserved win in a tour stop last year. I believe it was Oslo, where he was able to take the win over Just Saiyan. And Akawanda is pretty much the face of Spanish Hearthstone. We all know him.
Absolutely.
We all love him.
Old guard Hearthstone with Akawanda. The first pro player I met, actually. Nice little fun tidbit.
Oh.
Yeah, it's nice. He was nice to me. I was scared. Anyways,
he is a very lovely man.
I did have a very quick chat with Akawanda about his preparation for this series, and he didn't tell me too much, but he did say we saw how good Malagos Druid were, and so we tried to bring aggro decks to counter it.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's their whole game plan. Their lineup is Malagos Druid, the Highlander Hunter that they're playing now, Tempo Rogue, and the aggro Shaman. So really, it's pretty much the cookie cutter good lineup at the moment.
Yeah, kind of similar to what we saw previously, I believe, from Singapore, who had a very similar style of play. The Hunter, I think, is still a deck that whenever I say it's good, it does badly, and whenever I say it's badly, it does good. Like, consistently throughout Grandmasters, I was saying I don't like this deck. I think it's weak. I think people are only winning with it because other players are playing badly against it. And then players who brought it consistently did really well. We have Bloomin' Lion at the end winning the global championship with the only player bringing this Highlander Hunter. So even though I continue to pop on the deck, it seems to still just find a way to get these wins.
Yeah. On the other side of things, we've got Ball Control and Dead Draw representing the UK. Obviously, there's the... Well, I say obviously, I'm going to slow down for a second there. It's Quest Druid, but it's running Chef Nomi Overflow, so it's that version of Quest Druid. Got any words about this deck, Derek?
I mean, it's incredibly unfashionable, I think it would be fair to say. The builds of this deck that were running Overflow were like day 1 builds. I remember I was watching Hunter Ace and Vino stream on the first day of the expansion, and they were like, first of all, they played like 1 game of pure Highlander, and they were like, this is garbage. Anubis Sentinel's too strong, Nourish is too strong, Oasis Surge is too strong, or Anubis Defender, sorry. And so they went with a kind of version that still ran Elise plus the Zephyrus, but cut the overflows, because obviously in a quest deck, Nourish is significantly stronger than Overflow. But it is still, if you look at it at face value, a 5-star card. It's absurdly powerful of what it does. And even though a lot of the time it could be redundant if you hit the Nourish first of all, if you miss it, it's a great backup prize.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. UK are also running their own aggro or token shaman rather, combo priest and a Zoth warrior. So we may see some slow games a little bit later. We'll have to wait and see.
But it is a respectable start, although not oppressively powerful for Akawanda coming into these first few turns. The Hyena Alpha is definitely awkward for board control to deal with, but on the other side of that, even though this can't be dealt with easily on this turn, he's at 35 health, going into quest completion on the next turn. I think board control's sitting quite pretty here.
Yeah, I agree. Board control was saying to me that he's very, very happy with the dynamic between himself and Deaddraw. As Deaddraw has more of a control combo-y style play, and Board control is more the aggro type player. He says they've pretty much got every archetype covered between them.
Right, I thought he was going to say that they love the dynamic in that Deaddraw says nothing and Board Control says everything. Because I think, even though hanging out with Deaddraw at multiple events now, I think I've heard him say a total of 3 words.
Got something to hide?
Time waits for no one.
Are we back? I think we're back.
Are we back in business? The boys are back in town. Alright, take it away, Dan.
Well, you were just telling me about how Board Control, how Deaddraw doesn't say anything. Board Control says everything. And to be fair, Board Control, he's a caster at heart, right?
It's true. It is kind of ironic. I was saying how he doesn't say anything and then cut out halfway through saying that. the perfect irony. But yeah, like I was saying, Deaddraw very much keeps to himself, and that's evinced in his performances. You know, so far he has not been a team player. He hasn't even been on a team for the most part, and it's just been a ladder grinder for the most part. But I am really, really glad that he has been able to turn that into some tournament success, even if he was just unable to get his win over Eddie in the semi-finals of Bucharest. Because as so many of GMs or top players will tell you, he is absolutely one of the best there is, and undeniably up there with all the best.
I'm certain the Dedra will make it in one of these days. But in the meantime, AKA Wonder with that Dino Tamer Bran has melted this board. But board control does have 2 Starfall in hand. Starfall Wrath alone will be enough to clear this up. So board control with that completed quest looking okay for the time being.
It's just always the way it goes. If you complete the quest and hit the Nourish and you're not dead the turn after, you're probably going to win that game of Hearthstone. It's a safe assumption most of the time.
Again, when telling me about his lineup, Board Control said that they expected Druid from all of their opponents, so they wanted to tech against that, which is why they're running Nomi Druid and running Hakar in their Warrior. They said that way we were able to tech against Druid whilst also bringing 4 good decks.
That makes sense to me. That is the quintessential Druid strategy, is 4 good decks. He is the most cynical man you will ever meet, and if you ever say you have some kind of strategy that's like, yeah, I hard target this one deck, or if they don't bring this, then we'll be able to go for a switch around on whatever kind of deck. He's like, no, you play the best deck, you spend your mana, play it on curve. It's a simple way of Hearthstone, but it's clearly effective. It's like if you've ever watched Board Control do a card review with Jambre. Jambre's coming up with all these stupid, wacky ideas for cards, 4 stars to some garbage that he thinks may work in a combo deck. And Board Control says, can I play it on curve? Is it overstatted? Yes or no? 1 star or 4 stars?
I wonder.
Now AKA Wonder has to fight to get this board back. Double Snip Snap plus the 1-drop, the Shimmerfly, maybe that's enough for now. I mean, really, it seems like the game for Spain right now is wait until we can play the hero card and then play the hero card.
Is that timer correct? I swear it's like burning outside of the bar at this point. Oh well. Yeah, agreed. It's really just the only thing he can do. He needs to start getting some snip snap value, because for Echo Wonder, if he can survive until turn 9, hit Call of the Wild, and then play it again with Zul'jin on the following turn, we're looking at a chance to come back into this game. A pretty decent chance actually, because Ball Control's hand has gotten quite reactive actually. Oh my god. Okay. Well, sorry, it was looking.
Kun's nice. Elise is now, well, Elise has been active for a little while. Expedition, 2 more Expedition, that's a lot more value. Okay, yeah, Boar can do a lot here.
So what, Elise Starfall on this turn?
I like it. You definitely double
Probably
down
right.
on the Kun, so that, yeah.
Yeah. I really like Elise on this turn. Like, Ball Control could try and be greedy and go for like a big flute play later on and go for, double Elise, double that card that you get with the flute, but I think that's way too greedy. This should be enough to win him the game right now.
I mean, AKA Wonder hasn't even played that many spells yet, so Zul'jin isn't actually the be-all and end-all.
Yeah.
Need a hand, Explorer?
There we go. The play we've all been looking at. I'm waiting for Ball Control to lock in. It's not perfect again because it gives you a bunch of content, but it's the best you're going to get. Unleash the Beast being picked up off of the Shimmerfly, though, is a fantastic spell to be getting here for Echo Wonder with the Zul'jin in hand.
Yeah, I was saying he hasn't played many spells yet. Well, this is going to change that.
That'll do it. You can take out the Elise and the 5/4, which just leaves a 5/3 on Ball Control side of the board. It's scary, don't get me wrong, but it is not completely unsalvageable for Echo Wonder. Or this way.
Okay. Ball control feels like gaining 20 armor now, I guess.
I usually feel like gaining 20 armor. It's a rare point that I don't think that's a good play. I guess Rat Trap is something he could consider. Like, he could just try and play
That's true.
just one more card on this turn. But honestly, at this point, it doesn't even matter. He's so absurdly powerful. He can just activate it, Starfall it, carry on with his life.
Got 3 Starfalls in hand. Like, for goodness, what else do you need?
Jewels of the sound.
Ball control is currently unto a god. Versus Hacker Wonder, this hand is just nutty.
See what
even with
all
the
these
perfect
worthy expeditions can bring up. Yeah. Mark of the Lower looks good. Wrath looks good.
Probably Wrath, yeah, I'd rather dig through my deck. Especially with Nomi knocking about in there as well for the ultimate late game. Okay. Oh my god, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit coming in hot for ball control now.
Well, I don't know how AKA Wonder ever kills this cunt. Another worthy expedition, alright. I guess,
doesn't.
yeah. No, he just doesn't. I guess with the 1/4 on the board, like ball control doesn't necessarily need to draw with the Wrath because he's getting through his deck quite efficiently as it is.
Yeah, and also for ball control, I kind of didn't even realize how low on health Akat Wonder was, which does mean the Mark of the Lower probably makes more sense than the Wrath does, just to cycle an extra.
Right.
Quickly.
It's not enough to keep him alive if ball control does not mess up. Because he can 3/2 into a minion to activate the freezing trap. So even though Akat Wonder played it in the correct order, because ball control did not mess up, that's good.
Yeah.
Easy.
There you go, 15 damage exactly on the board. Ball control doesn't even need to think about taking through his deck. We didn't even need to see overflow or game over 1-0 to the United Kingdom. Very, very solid start.
Yeah, nice and easy Druid game there. It's just a classic ball control game. You just play your good cards and then win the game. Nothing too fancy about it whatsoever. But then, like you said, the rest of the decks, just kind of generically strong decks for the most part. I think the Shaman should be in a very, very good spot because I think it is good against the Hunter. I think it's fine against Druid. I'd call it 50% to like 53% in favor of Shaman with the matchups I've been playing it. Like it feels ever so slightly favored for the Shaman, and then of course the Mirror, which you're not too sad about.
Absolutely not. Never too sad about having to play me, especially when you're up at the moment. But it's going to be dead draw on N'Zoth Warrior up against AKA Wonder on the Highlander Hunter. Now, dead draw, as Ball Control was saying before, is a very control-y player. You know, give dead draw a good old-fashioned control warrior any day.
Yeah. And this is, like you said, actually, I'm going to amend myself there. I was going to say this is the quintessential dead draw style of deck. I don't think that's quite true. I think he likes these kind of slow control decks like Control Warrior. I think what he loves are the janky combo decks. That is his absolute bread and butter while laddering Hearthstone. He's hit, I think he hit like double rank 1 with Nomi Priest, although I could be wrong with that. He's got rank 1 legend multiple times with, as I said, Nomi Priest, Topsy Turvy Priest, Hakar Druid, Mecha'thun Druid, all these really weird combo decks. He is so good at that specific play style, which works so well for him.
Well, this isn't necessarily the best matchup for dead draw, though, is it? Up against Highlander Hunter. I mean, thinking back to the old days of classic Hearthstone, one of Control Warrior's weaknesses back then was Hunter because of the strength of Savannah High Mains and freezing traps and that kind of thing. And I'm not sure things have gotten that much better for the Warrior since then. That Hunter definitely can just kill you on curve.
Huge decision here for Akawanda to throw down the Zephyrs, and I was wondering if he would actually go for the Wild Growth. I think because he's playing Zephyrs exactly for Wild Growth, I don't mind it, because the thing you have to remember is Zephyrs on 2 always just gives you a 3-drop. It gives you every time Animal Companion, Wild Growth, and Brightwing. He already had a decent turn 3 option with the Snip Snap, so you could make the argument that he's just playing this for the most part for the body, for the 3-2 on turn 2. Which is not bad at all. But with the Wild Growth, it ramps him up to that Subject 9, which is so powerful against Warrior, that I'm still not 100% convinced this is the right play, because Zephyrs can be so strong in this matchup, but it makes sense to me. I think there's good logic behind this play.
I think as a mid-range deck, playing against a control deck, I can definitely see the logic. And also, something that I'm sure you haven't considered, Derek, is that when AKA Wonder plays Zul'jin on turn 10, he's going to get an extra card draw from that Wild Growth.
You are 100% correct. I had not even considered considering that. I'm still considering, just not even considering it. But yes, you are not incorrect.
Job's done.
Well, if I'm not wrong, then that's something. Well, anyways, Subject 9, which was, as you said, probably the point of playing the Wild Growth to begin with, because now that into secrets upon secrets, Dedraw's going to struggle with that.
Akawanda here, man, has got pretty much every good card in the matchup. Obviously Zephyrs is always good, Bran, Zul'jin, and low-key as well. Just the Subject 9 is so powerful against Warrior, because it's the Mysterious Challenger effect, right? Not only does it give you a decent play immediately, it means all your draws for the rest of the game are just upgraded, because you don't have to bother with drawing those rubbish secrets.
Exactly. Really taking his time with this one, though. Can't help but wonder why. Does his hand get filled up or something here? Is that the reason?
I think he does overdraw by 1, yeah.
Yeah. His hand's full, so he'll lose the next card that he draws. Okay.
Honestly, though, given that he's drawn Bran, Zephyrs, Subject 9 itself, obviously, and Zul'jin, I think it's perfectly fine to overdraw a card.
What else does he need? Yeah.
Right, like Siamat is a bad overdraw. Call of the Wild, I suppose, is pretty bad as well, but I'd take the chance to just play this on curve. Yeah, Rag, sure.
I wonder.
Once again, for those of you who may be wondering about the tournament structure that we're currently in, as this is a relatively slow turn, this is the first day of the Hearthstone Global Games, where countries from all over the world are competing to get their share of the $75,000 prize pool. Dedraw for the United Kingdom and Akawanda for Spain are fighting to get up to the top of the bracket. If they win 2 series of Hearthstone, they will qualify onto the next phase of the tournament in a couple weeks' time.
I wonder.
It's exciting how quickly the pace of HGG this year is going to move on. Because again, already we've eliminated 2 teams, and it's the first day.
The overdrawn card there, I'm sorry, I was waffling on instead of paying attention. Did you see what it was?
I didn't, I'm afraid.
Alright, I'm going to get it on stream. Okay, Mask Contender, right.
Good job.
Nothing too important.
Quick thinking.
Turn here for Akawanda, relatively slow, I think it's fair to say, but setting up for the power turns coming up, obviously, and Freezing Trap makes a good amount of sense to me. It allows him, usually, I would say here, to just send this 4 damage to face, because usually, as I was saying, there's nothing that can rush in to get rid of the Freezing Trap to allow the Acolyte to draw a lot of cards.
Yep. It's led to a pretty awkward turn from Dedraw here, where you kind of look at the Dynamatic, and it's okay. I guess it draws a couple cards. That's something.
The fuses!
I almost believed for a second. It's actually definitely an expected outcome. Like, this is not a ridiculous happenstance to occur here for dead draw, but the fact that this 4 damage gets to connect face again is absolutely massive. Make no mistake. Branthony getting to come in hot here with the King Crush to push a lot of damage, which is of course exactly what Akawanda is trying to do. He does not want to extend this into the super late game if at all possible. He just wants to smoke dead draw down.
And he's going to be doing a pretty good job of it with this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yep, slam that damage straight in. Everything is going right for Akawanda this game. And you just look at what dead draw's got going on. And okay, Whirlwind plus Plague. Now, finally, he can make a powerful play. But it's still very reactive. He's not actually putting anything onto the board himself.
Yeah, I think this is generally the way the matchup does play for Warrior, outside of course, the absolute dream curve with like a Snip Snap coming down on an Eternium Rover or something like that. It's very difficult to pull ahead against the Highlander Hunter, especially when they're drawing like this. That is another fantastic card off the top for Akawanda in Eternal 2's time. It's obviously a little slow on this turn because the options are what, Quad Secret or Ursatron's Snip Snap Secret?
Mm-hmm.
Ursatron's Snip Snap Hero Power?
But do you really want to...
You know, usually with this kind of hand, you want to go Snip Snap on 9, magnetized on.
Yeah.
But given
That's what I was thinking.
given that Akawanda has the curve of Call of the Wild into Zul'jin already, I think that's powerful enough to allow you to just play the Snip Snap as a 2/3 on this turn, or magnetized on.
Quickly.
Just use it while you can, instead of saving it for
I think so.
when you might never get the chance. Yeah. I mean, otherwise playing 2 secrets is certainly an option. And that does make the Zul'jin better if you want to go Call of the Wild curving into Zul'jin.
Sure. Yeah, good point, good point. Do you remember Dart Trap?
I do remember Dart Trap, yeah. What a
Would that
trash
be good?
secret.
Yeah, I wonder if you'd ever play that. Probably not.
Nah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Best case scenario, it's a 50% chance to hit you in the face, right? Like it's
Yeah.
or hit the opponent in the face, obviously. I mean, if you hit yourself in the
Yeah,
face,
that would be a trash secret.
Well, there's the snipe being procced. Rat Trap is a little more awkward to play around.
I think this does a perfect good job of it. Oh my god! Akawanda just getting absolute powerhouse after powerhouse card. This is undeniably the Akawanda special.
I mean, yeah, like you said earlier on when we were talking about cards being burned, that's the one that he wanted to draw rather than burn,
Yes.
and he's got it.
Like he
Dead Draw is going to need
overdrew.
some work to survive through this.
Akawanda overdrew the worst card in his deck because he'd already drawn all the secrets, so Mars Contender wouldn't have done anything. Pretty fortunate. But either way, it does now mean that a lot of damage can connect to the dome for Akawanda.
Yep,
It is
7
kind
coming in
of
hot.
pointing out here. Sorry, it's kind of worth pointing out here that for Akawanda, if he'd gone with the alternate line of play with Snip Snap, he maybe would have ended up netting more damage here because he would have had more minions in play. But then, of course, you can make the argument that Deaddraw would have made a different line of play if we'd seen the Snip Snap from Akawanda. So it's not a perfect comparison, but I still think maybe for Akawanda, if he was going for the most aggressive game plan, we could have seen a more aggressive push onto the board.
Deaddraw can survive everything that Akawanda throws at him, though, for now, right? Because he's got a Brawl, and he's got a Warpath, and he's got a Plague of Wrath. So one of those, maybe the Brawl clears up this, Akawanda plays Zul'jin, and then the Warpath Plague of Wrath deals with that.
Yeah, I guess that all plays around Rat Trap as well, which is the big, difficult sticking point for Deaddraw at the moment.
It does seem surprisingly clean for Deaddraw for now.
Do you reckon he goes? Do you reckon he should have gone? I should say at this point, Rover plus Brawl and Hero Power.
Rover plus Brawl and Hero Power. Sure, because the mana lines up well. Oh, he's doing it the other way around. He's just
Yeah. Like
okay
he
with
could have gone for it first. I guess it's so unlikely that it survives anyway. This is probably better.
Now the question is, does AKA Wonder play the Zul'jin now, or does he play a little bit more greedy and play the Seamat, play a Secret, play the Secret Keeper? It seems like a good enough turn.
Yeah.
Get that pressure play down, maybe. And every Secret that gets played now is another Secret that gets replayed with Zul'jin.
That's the thing. Is it worth greeding out the Zul'jin to go for a stronger one with more secrets on the following turn? It's difficult. I think it's actually pretty close.
I wonder.
It was last game that he got the Unleash the Beast, wasn't it? So it's just the secrets and the secrets, Call of the Wild and Wild Growth, I suppose, is not insignificant.
Here comes the big axe.
Just going with it, but he's gonna have to play quick if he wants to get everything in before the rope with the animations. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming, but it still hurt. Five damage is so much at this point in the game. This has happened twice now today. 3 times. Twice from Australia that I've seen, and once from Spain now. Just missing these rope plays because they're leaving it too late.
It goes back to what we've always talked about with Hearthstone Global games, where and Lorinda was just saying a couple series ago, it should be a little easier now. There's only 2 players on each team. That's only 2 people that need to argue. But from what we've seen today, no, it seems like the rope still is an issue. It's still something that the teams are going to have to get good at dealing with in order to be successful here. I'll see if that 5 damage makes the difference.
What now?
It's definitely going to make a difference to the way the game is played as well, because Deaddraw can afford to be a little bit more fast and loose with his health total now that he's seen the Zul'jin, and of course the extra little bit of removal and damage comes from these. Deaddraw testing everything he can, I think quite correctly so far.
Well, he should know exactly what it all is.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
It came from the Zul'jin. So it's less of playing around random secrets and more just mathsing it out. Here we go. Excess mana, Darren.
XD, more like. Right then, that does now mean that Akawanda, while he was in an absolutely prime position, is now left a little bit more shaky. He's burnt through most of the removal from dead draw, which is a fantastic spot to be in, especially when you have nice chunky minions like Siamat and the Snip Snap, of course. But dead draw does have Dr. Boom. He has a few rush minions to go alongside that. I think this could be anybody's game at this point.
I agree. I agree. We're starting to get into that zone where, because AKA Wonders played so many of the strong things, dead draw survives that a little bit longer. You know, get some Cartoots down, get some Zoth down. He might just end up winning this.
Missing out on the hero power is Akawanda, when there were a couple of other lines that could have been gone for, you know, like hero power plus secret plus the secret keeper in addition to the hyena alpha. But I'm not massively opposed to this. This does make, after you've seen a few pieces of removal, a very, very difficult board to deal with. So this seems fine. It should be able to net the amount of damage that was lost by missing out on the hero power.
Oh, it sounds like... I don't know, I get the impression there's quite a bit of deliberating on this turn. I mean, the secrets can't help matters when it comes to communication. On the flip side of that, you could argue that actually having two players to work out how to play around every secret might make things a little easier, especially when they're two players as talented as these guys.
Oh, yes. There we go. Two secrets being played. Oh, sorry, two cards there being played, which of course doesn't activate the rat trap. And also, more importantly, a board lock coming in from dead draw. It is very, very rare that you see this against Highlander Hunter, but Akawanda did allow this to happen.
I was going to say, there's no space for the rat trap anyway. And not much that Akawanda can do now. I mean, I guess if he really wanted to, he could hero power one of his own minions to play the Siamat.
Yes.
Maybe you just do it.
Yeah. Really? Or is it more likely to be Celiax magnetized on? I guess CMS just a little bit bigger. Like, my constant head state against Warrior is don't play into removal, don't play into Brawl, don't play into the Plague of Wrath. But, of course, Dead Draw has already played most of those. So Akawanda, I think,
That's
like
true.
you said, I think your instinct was correct. That this is probably the way to go, to be as aggressive as possible.
Oh, there's the
Oh,
second
wait.
Brawl. I was just... Both plagues are gone. The first Brawl's been used up. That is the second one. What good timing is that? Look at Dead Draw's little smirk there. It almost looks like that's live.
The face of an absolute cold-blooded killer.
This would be a good time for a myth.
Oh, the Sienna wins!
Oh my god. Akawanda is not human. He literally cannot be human. He's too good. He's too powerful. He gave Dead Draw hope. He's just toying with him like a cat with a mouse.
So
He allowed
17
him
damage
to
available.
Pulled it
Yeah,
all away.
yeah. That is how it seems. 17 damage available with the Wind Fury Siamat, the Hero Power, and the Eagle Horn Bow that was just drawn. And only 24 health for Dead Draw. Losing that Brawl might actually have just decided the game.
Yes, Falcone. I think it might have just decided the game. It's definitely going to have far-reaching consequences, one could say, given that it could be, what, like 4 damage off lethal on this turn? Oh, no, my math is absolutely horrendous. But close to lethal. Yep, just again, development. Akawanda, correctly so here, is not holding back anything at all. This has to be one final big push. And just these secrets again, man. They're so annoying. Dead Draw can go Hero Power, Mummy.
Those snakes are actually kind of awkward to deal with now as well. Deaddraw has
They're
no...
annoying.
No doom can hold me.
Every one of these secrets that he's proccing as well is just giving through damage.
No doom can hold me. No doom can hold me.
That's true. And no guaranteed armor up hero power. Things are falling apart for Deaddraw. Oh! One off lethal for AK Wonder.
Oh man, that is a good top deck as well though. Just more pressure, turn after turn. And although we were talking about how lucky Akawanda have been getting with these draws this game, which is true, he got some fantastic draws. It's all because of the Subject 9. If you take out 6 bad draws from your deck,
That's
or
true.
5 I suppose, with the 1 natural draw, it just means you just don't draw bad. You only draw the good cards in your deck. This is exactly what happened this game.
Is Kartu Defender even good enough to get Deaddraw out of this? I don't... Oh, Shield Slam's not bad. I believe that leaves AK Wonder 1 off lethal.
Yeah, if he had Carter on this turn into N'Zoth on the following turn, then we're talking.
Yeah. Yeah. But Kartu won't even be enough next turn because AK Wonder is going to put Deaddraw down to 1 again, and the hero power would just finish the job.
Right.
Ziliak's been drawn yet? I don't recall Ziliak's being played this game by Deaddraw. I don't even know if that's good enough though. Deadly Shot denying the card draw.
Unity, precision, perfection.
I give up. Self-destruct.
And there you go. Deaddraw does give up. AKA Wonder takes his first game of the series, leaving the score at 1-1. Finally getting there with the Highlander Hunter. That game took a little while, but we did see the expected result eventually.
That's right. It's a good example of a matchup that I saw many, many times over the course of Grandmasters and consistently misrepresented, I think, because at first I was saying that the Highlander Hunter is in a terrible spot against the Warrior. It just doesn't have enough stuff to overcome all the removal that the Warrior has. But then consistently, when played well, as I believe it was there, by Akawanda and Team Spain, it just gets the job done. They have enough chip damage, and as long as you're playing aggressive, getting that face damage in, which Akawanda consistently was, you're in a very good spot.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we are 2 games into the series, and you know what that means. Yes, it means we are going to go to a very short break. But when we return, the score is 1-1 between Spain and the United Kingdom. Which one of them will reign supreme in this initial match? Find out very soon. We are back with the Hearthstone Global Games. The score is 1-1 between the United Kingdom and Spain. We are going to find out which of these two teams are going to win the initial match and make it through to the winners' finals. So Spain have won with their Hunter, United Kingdom have won with their Druid. That leaves Spain with their Druid and their Shielded Shaman, and the United Kingdom with their Warrior, which we did just see lose, and their Shielded Shaman. You're right there, Derek. No, I don't think he can. I get the feeling there's something going on there where he can't hear me or I can't hear him. So that's okay. We'll.
Could you?
There we go.
I'm sorry if I'm talking over you. I
so
can't
that's
hear
a
you
start.
right
We'll
now.
go ahead and
I hope
get
we get
into
this
game
sorted
and
out. If you
sort
can't
out
hear me,
join us
then never mind anyway.
But now
I'm
it's going to be
stop talking.
Zuhex for Spain on the Druid, which I believe is Malygos Druid up against Deaddraw. Once again on the Warrior, which again we did just see Deaddraw lose with this one, but coming back one more time. Looks like we have a little spectating problem on the video as well, but it looks like it's going to get sorted out any second. Zuhex is throwing everything, keeping hold of the quest. Waste of Surger, Wrath, Swipe. Okay. The good thing for the Druid this matchup is that the downside to playing Quest Druid is that you don't really do anything for the first few turns. Against a Control N'Zoth Warrior, you don't really care about doing anything the first few turns. You can just sit back, relax, and let that quest complete. We're gonna just go ahead and let our issue get resolved there. I believe there are some communication issues between myself and Derek, but we'll get that sorted in a moment. Right, in the meantime, Deaddraw, Town Crier picked up. He's going to have to work out whether it's worth playing that or whether he just wants to sit and armor up. Against Malygos Druid, obviously there's a lot of merit to just gaining as much armor as possible so that you can survive the Malygos Onslaught. The flip side to that, you have to gain a lot of armor in order to survive against the Malygos Onslaught, because with the various tools that Malygos Druid has available to it now, with Geppetto, Florist, Floop, Elise, and even Kun, that Malygos Druid can throw a lot of damage at you all in one turn. So it does make sense the Deadraw's armoring up, but it's going to have a lot of work to do in order to overcome that hurdle. The other thing is, when the quest gets completed, Zuhex is going to be able to start really throwing stuff at Deaddraw, and that is something that the Warrior is going to have to deal with as well, with minions like Dynamatic, just keeping those minions off the board, preventing Zuhex from chunking down Deadraw's armor, keeping his total as high as possible. On the other side of things, Zuhex not going to be doing anything too exciting here.
No tomb can hold me! No tomb can hold me!
I am back. I don't know if Derek is.
I wonder.
Alternatively, he could drop down that Ziliax as a defensive measure to just try and keep his health total high at all costs, as that is the sort of main objective here of this game. He's not going to be tempoing Zuhix down anytime soon. Gaining armor, getting to Hakar as well. Hakar is a fantastic win condition against all of the Druid decks, as Hakar relies on, as Druid relies on things like Elise and Zephyrus, obviously the Highlander mechanic, but Hakar, after the first blood has been drawn, shuffles 2 more bloods into the deck, which does shut down those mechanics entirely. So that is the other thing Deaddraw is going to be planning on doing. So get that Ziliax developed. Now ready for Zuhex to have his power spike as the quest is now completed. And these Oasis Surges are going to come down and make short work. Derek, you with me?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Hello, Derek. Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, Falk. Keck W is what I have to say. Shall we carry on casting some Hearthstone?
If you want.
If I want,
you can do your bit now, and I'll just be quiet for the next round.
All right, here we go. Druid versus Warrior. What is happening? Malagos or Druid? That sounds like a favourable matchup, doesn't it, for the Druid?
Agreed.
Are they winning? Let me analyse this. It would appear as such.
Well, yeah. Deaddraw only has 33 health, which doesn't look like nearly enough. If he can't get to Hakar soon, if he can't draw Hakar early, play it and get it dead, and get Zuhex to draw one of the cards quickly, I think he's in some pretty big trouble. Even if the Hakar does come into play, like, it's just probably still not going to be enough.
I agree. Big Trub feels like the situation that you just, I don't know, you struggle to beat double damage.
Waits for no one. Our tombs.
But it is far from the passive hand that usually loses here. As the Warrior for Deaddraw, he has a good amount of tempo that he can develop. So like you said, if he can find himself in the next couple of draws, Hakar into N'Zoth, I think we could be looking at a very real chance of Deaddraw in on board. And like you said, with the Hakar activation, then proceed to just kill Zuhex through the corrupted blood.
Right. It's within the realms of possibility, but a lot has to go right for Deaddraw in order for that to be the case.
A lot does have to go right for him, but he's been in this situation before. I remember casting his semi-final match against up against Eddie, where the entire time I was just saying, okay, if this happens and 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 this doesn't happen, he has a chance. He did lose in the end because 50 things did not happen one after the other to give him a chance of winning. But you know, he is no stranger to these situations of having to find the 1% alphas to win the game.
But this is starting to be a board. Deaddraw back at third tier again, and is able to deal with everything thanks to the good old classic Warpath Plague of Wrath combo. Is that wait?
I wonder what he'd prefer. Well, he could go Hero Power Shield Slam Plague, which keeps him a Warpath and a 1/2.
Okay.
I probably like that slightly more. Like, I think Warpath is slightly more flexible in the matchup, especially when he's looking to be quite low on armor from here on in.
Mm-hmm.
Or he could just go double Warp. Or what? He could go. How does it work out? Eternium Rover, Warpath, and then Shield Slam and save the Plague of Wrath.
Uh-huh.
Or just Eternium Rover, Warpath, Hero Power, Shield Slam. Yeah, that's probably better actually, because I feel like Plague of Wrath is maybe the most valuable card for him at the moment.
How many big minions are there in this Druid deck? There's not too many. There's the obvious.
There's
you know,
not
the
that-
Malagos. Geppetto is kind of big.
Well, that's the thing, is if he doesn't have a way to kill Malagos, he can just give up on the spot.
Sure.
I think this is smart from Dead Draw. You know, the Shield Slam and the Warpath are not that good in the matchup most of the time, given that he doesn't have too much armor. If he had a very high armor count, I would have liked to have seen the Shield block held onto, or Shield Slam,
Right.
sorry.
Yeah. And you know, gaining 6 armor there with that play as well. That's a little side benefit. Going to gain another 3 at some point when this rover gets hit again. Yeah, this hand from Zuhex is looking kind of awkward because there's a lot of good tools there, but none that he really wants to use up. Like, maybe Keeper of the Grove gets played now to deny the armor and get rid of the 1/1. Otherwise, like, I don't really know what he's playing. The 2/4, I guess, to draw a card at the end of the turn.
Well, this is actually a very good spot to talk about what the why this is such a difficult deck to play. Like, why is Malagos Druid such a hard deck? Because it's hard. It's just Quest Druid, which is a relatively simple deck. You just float mana on the first few turns, play your best card each turn, and then dominate them in the late game. But I think the real skill of Malagos Druid, the real subtlety, comes from knowing which card you don't need. What can you afford to throw away? And so I wonder if from Zuhex, Floop was justifiable to just throw away, because he still has Geppetto, he's got the Florist, he's still got Elise. He can still knock together a ridiculously high amount of damage. And he could have developed onto the board a bit more aggressively.
But then it's fine to throw away a swipe as well, right? Because there's still a second one, both Moonfires with Elise, that makes another swipe and another 2 Moonfires on top of that. Like, it's very rare that you'd need both swipes to win with Malagos Druid.
Tell you what he's really wishing for here is an overflow. If only he was playing Dead Draw's build of Druid here, he'd be sorted.
So it's looking like it might have to be Plague Time then, assuming that Dynamatic hits each minion once, which is a big assumption to make.
That's
Like, it could easily miss one of these.
And when you assume Falc, you make often incorrect
An
statements.
idiot out of me.
Close
The fuses!
Ooh! Loti's got stealth, you can't hit it.
Well, that's unfortunate. That is
Not an
quite bad.
incorrect
to
statement.
draw.
Yes.
Although it's not like Zuhex can really take advantage of it right now. Yes, he can deal with the 3/4, fine. But the spell damage, really all that it's doing is preventing Deaddraw from getting any other minions down.
Yeah.
It'll contest anything that gets played.
So Zuhex probably is just going to save for the entire game the Keeper of the Grove for the Hakar, just in case that comes down and is able to threaten a lethal. And so therefore that's unplayable, not that you'd really want to play that anyway. Is it ever just play the Starfall? Or do you just do nothing and go face?
Do you, as the druid, need that Starfall for future turns?
Like maybe to clear up an Azoth, arguably?
Yes, but have you already
not that
won
good,
by
though.
then?
Okay. I can agree with this. It was either Starfall or nothing. And, you know, when you think about what the warrior can likely do, I think nothing is fine.
Yep. Agreed. It doesn't even die to the Dynamatic, so... Oh, right, it's a card type. Now might be a good time to play Starfall. Oh, Silence plus Starfall! It just shuts it down!
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Keep of the Grove for the Hakar is just the perfect situation.
Oh my goodness. And at that point, Dedra's kind of just run out of stuff.
Kind of.
What to do?
That has to happen because that's the way you lose. Is Hakar going off? I can almost hear ball control throughout the annals of time going, ugh.
For no one.
Yep, I can agree with that play 100%. So now it is either Dr. Boom or Turbo through your deck to find N'Zoth, because of course, although the Hakar did not activate the Death Rattle, it still died. N'Zoth can bring it back. That's the best chance for Dead Draw. I agree with cycling through his deck. Dr. Boom doesn't do enough right now. Tick, tick, tick. And then if all of that doesn't work, just go for Elysiana and hit, I don't know, Mechafun or something.
Okay.
Or, I mean, more likely, discover Hecklebot and then pull out the Malagos and win through that way.
Well, you've got a plan, and I guess we just kind of have to hope that that the United Kingdom also have a plan, because it's really not looking good to me.
I'm a man with a plan. A very stupid man with a very poor plan, but it's something. So again, the skill here really comes for Zoohex in knowing what can I use, what do I not have to save for the combo. Holding on to a swipe, you know, you've already used one. That is typically a pretty key part of the combo because the mana works out quite beautifully with reduce the Malagos down to 2 with the Dream Petal Florist, and then go Malagos, Floop, Moonfire, swipe, 10 mana, loads of damage, nice and easy. And so therefore I think holding on to the swipe makes a good amount of sense. The Starfall kills them both off instantly anyway. Good
One hit, yeah. Ideal. That Whirlwind would have just activated them if they were both just left alive. Now it's relatively useless. Brawl is a good pickup though. Shield Slam is a good pickup as well with Dr. Boom. I should imagine. Oh, Zipper Clyde is also good.
wait.
All right, things are coming together.
Acolyte draws. I completely forgot that this was the thing. Acolyte draws 2 cards
you
on the
twice.
Starfall because it stays alive
Right.
for the second hit, even though it's down to 0 health.
It's a weird
That's
interaction.
so
that.
dumb. That what? What? I mean, it's not. It's the rules of the game. It's how it works. I'm the stupid one, but that is weird. That is a very niche interaction.
Yeah,
And I
no,
should have remembered how it worked.
I remember seeing it with Wrath now, but yeah, that of course.
Yeah.
My goodness.
So 3 cards drawn instead of 2 there for dead draw, which is, I guess, a fine sacrifice for Zoohex. Especially as you have to remember, you know, her card does shuffle Bloods into both players' decks. So if Deaddraw does happen to find the N'Zoth, he will maybe just be killing himself just as quick as he's killing Zoohex. If he doesn't have time to play the Elysiana. If he finds time to play that, then he should be okay.
Yeah. I'd like to think that if the N'Zoth does come down with Cartoots, then Deaddraw should find the time to play the Elysiana. But,
Time waits for no one.
it's looking dodgy at the moment.
The draw for Zoohex is just exactly what he needs, though.
Yeah.
Wow. Dreampel just coming down for a 50-50 on a very good target. Oh, sorry.
Whoa! Hello?
By the power of Akawanda, I have the power. What? What?
So, I mean,
It wasn't
to their credit, they
that
sequenced
unlike-
it correctly, right?
Yeah.
They played the 1-4 first, so that if Malagos was drawn, the Dream Pack Flourish would go off after.
I would not have even thought about that. Guarantee I wouldn't have thought about that. That is smart. That is smart. I mean, I'm sure it was intentional that they thought, we'll give ourselves a chance. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Okay then.
Okay.
Okay, well.
Range.
Yep.
Fails to
Let's go
get
back.
out of range, it's said. Oh, and that's an active Elise. So now we're looking at swipe face, play Elise.
Yeah. It's the 2
I mean, is
turn,
this just lethal? It's just lethal, like if you go... No, it's not quite. It's not quite, yeah.
It's only 4 Moonfires and a swipe. That's not enough.
Yeah, so it's 36 damage at the moment.
Yeah. Close, though.
It's very close, but it's not quite. There's no way you can get it this turn, right? No, I don't think so. Yeah. Oh no, is there lethal this turn? If you go Elise, it copies left to right. So Elise, that would give you 4 cards. Oh, so it wouldn't duplicate the Malagos. Okay.
Time waits for no one.
There's really nearly lethal on this turn. Oh wait, there is. Innovate, Elise, Malagos, Moonfire is 40 damage. They see it.
Need a hand, Explorer?
Oh no wait, it doesn't copy the Malagos. I'm an idiot. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah. Not quite the hand space for that. Wait, was there a lethal there if he played one of the
I'm pretty
Moonfires?
sure they- Well, no, because then it would only
Yeah?
copy one Moonfire. You needed both of them.
Oh, of
Like,
course it would, yeah.
It wasn't lethal there. I'm pretty sure it wasn't lethal, but I'm also pretty sure that that was not the play. I think you'd much rather have two mana Malagos than have 2 swipes in hand. I think they made the same mistake I did, which makes it perfectly acceptable because who among us is not human?
Okay then.
I mean, I think this is
Well-
still just lethal. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because
Obviously,
they,
Malagos
yeah, I mean,
floop and then...
whatever. I mean, I was saying this wasn't the play. This is fine. This wins the game, I think, 100% of the time.
He can have 3 Malagos on the board this turn. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
It's enough damage. We get there.
More than.
Well, after what was another monster of a game there, Zoohex and Team Spain do take their second win of the series, leaving themselves only 1 game away from taking down United Kingdom. Deaddraw and Wolf really struggling to get a win with that N'Zoth warrior, but they're going to need to get the win at some point.
That's right, and it is going to be for Spain just the Shaman left, which I will check is the the aggro Shaman, yes, as opposed to the Quest Shaman, which is fantastic news for dead draw and ball control, because while I think the aggro token Shaman up against the N'Zoth Warrior is a slightly underwhelming matchup, I definitely call it favored for the Warrior, not by that much.
Right.
The Quest Shaman up against Warrior is fantastic for the Shaman. That's exactly the matchup you want to hit.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess dead draw has been queuing the Warrior, just trying to get that win in at some point. Not sure
Yeah.
how he's going to beat one of the unfavorables. But either way, now we've switched back over to ball control, and it's going to be the Shaman mirror match. Both of these are token Shaman.
Yeah, I mean, it makes literally no difference. They have to win both these games, runner. But either way, it is going to be ball control lining up first to try and get a win with the Shaman. Maybe just letting dead draw have a bit of a breather, rest his big old brain for a moment. Zuhex has here what I would argue is a fairly strong hand. I think, well, I don't know if this is correct. I know if I was in his position, I would definitely mulligan away the Thunderhead, keep both the Mogu Flesh Shapers, because even though on their own it's a little bit risky, you know, maybe you want to find some of the support cards more, like obviously Mutate, Evolve, Hair, Frog, something like that. I think Mogu Flesh Shaper is such a devastatingly powerful card that there's really just no position you don't keep it.
Right. It is just ridiculous. I mean, Zuhex has got the mutate there as well. There are loads of draws in the deck that activate the Mogan Flesh Shaper, so yeah, keeping it just seems great. It is the card that allows you to make the explosive plays that just win you the game on the spot.
It is also the card that allows you to shamelessly pump out terrible meme after terrible meme on Twitter without having to actually think about it, because it's so OP.
Yeah, I mean, you did one just an hour ago.
Literally just an hour ago, while I was supposed to be watching the games on my break, exactly.
Zuhex does have the option to match the Sludge Slurper with his very own Sludge Slurper. Honestly, the only lackey that he desperately wants to see now is the Faceless Lackey. Anything that makes that Flesh Shaper cheaper is what Zuhex would like to pick up.
And therefore, just chill. I don't see any reason to play the Faceless, the Sludge Slurper on this turn, because he has, he has an Evolve in hand, and when you have two Mogus, every time you play a 1-cost minion, it effectively casts a coin. And so I think as Zuhex, I would like to see either Totem, most likely, or just pass on this turn, and then lead up to one explosive turn where you go Sludge Slurper, Lackey, Mogu Evolve, all in the same turn. I think this was a little bit of a needless expense, if I'm honest.
Okay.
I don't know. With this deck, despite this being called Aggro Shaman or Token Shaman, I just think so much of the time not doing anything, not playing your cards is the best play. Players are way too proactive in this deck.
It does feel more like a combo deck than an aggro deck, honestly. But now ball control going to punish that perfectly with this Titanic Lackey. Keeping hold of the board. Next turn he's got Frog into whatever the heck he wants to do.
And I mean, 1 out of 3 times there was a pretty strong punish that did effectively the same thing in either Titanic or Cobalt. So I don't know. I think from Zuhex, I would have preferred to see a slightly more slow play there, but it does still probably allow him to get a strong Mogu play in the coming turns. But on the other side, while Ball Control's hand was looking very lacking, with all these 0-cost spells, he has the one card you are looking for to make it all click, and that is, of course, the Froggy Boy himself.
What to do?
Really not all that much Zuhex can do for now, though. Unfortunately, Ball Control is going to be playing the big cards now. All board really needs now is the Mogu Flesh Shaper himself, and he's pretty much good to go.
Zuhex goes with the full pass, not even going for the hero power, because of course he's thinking, if I do hero power, ball control will kill it off before my turn comes around anyway. And what it potentially does is makes the opposing
Flesh Shaper,
Mogu
Sea
Flesh
Giants.
Shaper just that little bit cheaper. And because he didn't hero power, it means that ball control is not able to go for some kind of a Mogu plus hair play or anything like that.
I wonder.
Although I guess actually if he had played the minion, Mogu evolve with a hair would have been 1 mana off. But either way, I think it's still correct for Zuhex just because it doesn't do anything good for him.
There is little time. I wonder.
All right. There's the hair.
Wow, wow, we were.
So
okay.
the mana doesn't quite work out this turn, does it?
Yeah.
I mean, he can play both Mogus, but can't play the evolve. I mean, I guess he could play the mutate instead, but it's so close to being explosive.
It's probably just Mogu plus mutate on this turn, I think, is what I like best, because the options on this turn are really hair plus evolve, if you want to just go in and try and dominate the board, like hair Mogu mutate, which sounds terrible, or just Mogu mutate, I think. And I think I like that best. Unless you want to go hair Mogu mutate, but I don't think I like that much either. Just because if you go Mogu mutate this turn for 4 mana, then next turn you can just go hair likely second Mogu plus evolve on turn 5. Oh, he just goes for the full pass. I didn't even consider that. Okay, Zuhex is going with the complete Omega turn on turn 5 instead to try and swing this all back in his favor. One mana off from being the perfect turn for Boar because he
We've had that for both
just
players
missing
now.
one minion in play. Yeah, it's true actually, and props to Zuhex because if he had gone in with the Mogu mutate on the last turn, then maybe it would have been that little bit extra that Boar needed to go for a big turn.
Or even if he totemed at all. He's just been full passing, not playing anything whatsoever.
So ball control also holding back from going for the mega powerful play. Because this does draw him the Lightning Storm actually. I didn't realise he was playing that in his list, which makes a huge difference in the mirror. I think I like this play from Boar. Whoa.
Well, it's go time. I think it's fair to
there's
say that.
100%. This is the turn, but I wonder how he should approach it. Because he could go Mogu, Rush, Hair, Evolve, and then go for Goblin Lucky on one of the 8 drops. Or he could just go for Voltaic Burst for a couple of extra 1/1s to clear off the board more.
He doesn't need to worry about Bloodlust just yet, as Ball Control is overloaded
That's
with
true.
2 mana crystals. So
And also
Zuhex is pretty much just free to make the most powerful board he can.
That's right, and he also knows 100% there is a Lightning Storm in hand, and therefore I think I like holding on to the Voltaic Burst, because a couple of extra 2 drops on the Evolve, I think is not quite good enough.
Right.
Yeah, this is...
Vestina isn't playable, Bloodlust isn't playable for Boar. Yeah, I mean, Zuhex is safe here. Here we go! This is potentially the game-winning play. Halakir!
Yeah, I don't want to be too nitpicky, but I'm pretty sure this turn was wrong from Zuhex, because just making 2 1/1s, but not rushing them in and instead evolving them, when you know 100% that there is a Lightning Storm in your opponent's hand, I think is not really playing to your strengths very well. I think clearing off the 1/1s was quite a lot better. than making 2 drops there.
Yep, that makes sense to me. How much
And I
damage
think
can this
actually
lightning storm do?
I think what the
Quite a
best
lot.
play was, even outside of the 1-1, rushing with the lackey, because then that allows you to go for Voltaic Burst plus Bloodlust on turn 6, which is significantly more powerful because it allows you to deal basically 8 extra free damage. So I think from Zuhex there, that was just a little bit of a misstep that honestly could have some pretty big repercussions.
What to do?
I mean, Ball Control can just deal with this now. In many different ways. With that, with the trades, with the Flesh Shaper. It's back to being Boar's board again. And Zuhex has done the powerful thing now. He's out of stuff.
That's right, and he no longer has a Voltaic Burst to try and swing things back. You know, there are a lot of different lines that could have been done differently here for Zuhex, and the last turn is the only one that I strongly disagree with. Everything else along the way, I think you could definitely make the argument for it being correct. But like you said, it does appear that it's going to be a well-deserved victory for Boar coming up.
That's 2 Bloodlusts, that is.
Wonder.
Yes,
That's just 2
I agree.
Bloodlusts.
All of my analysis pales in comparison to that is 2 Bloodlusts. They are.
That's
rubbish.
2 Bloodlusts, Derek, yeah. Well, there's nothing on the board, is there?
Yeah. Can't believe this in chat. People saying, "Oh well, should have RNG'd better." No, he played that last turn pretty badly. I think this could have been changed around quite drastically. Zuhex had the nuts hand. When you're on the play instead of on the coin, double Mogu Hair Evolve is literally the nuts. I'll stop reading.
It's alright. As the shaman expert, Derek, you're allowed to have the with this matchup specifically, you're allowed to have the strong opinions.
Mortals are so
Well,
squishy.
here comes the evolve the other way. With the Lickham gonna deal with the 4-4? Or just ignore it? No, just ignore it entirely. Yeah. Oh. You like the trade?
That one was a Doomsayer. He knew that one was going to be a Doomsayer, so yeah, I love that trade. And of course the Lickham. Yeah, that's what I mean. The one that he traded away, that one was the Doomsayer. So he got rid of
Oh,
it.
I see. Gotcha. Ordering's good though. Obviously, if he played the Lickham first, then ended up getting the Doomsayer, he wouldn't have had the mana to play the second evolve. So playing around that Doomsayer quite nicely.
Very
Lightning
good.
Storm the other way, and
With the
okay,
spell
it does
damage,
just leave the
it's still looking incredibly bad for Zuhex, but that is, I think, the one card that gave him a chance. Because it was just lethal on board otherwise. Is it still just lethal on board? 11, 13, 16 damage, I count?
Yeah, almost.
17 with spell power?
It's fine, just evolve into a minion with charge. No, it doesn't have the mana to do that now with the lightning bolt. Yeah. Never mind.
Well, if he gets King of Crush, then it's...
Wow. But yeah, either way, Zuhex has nothing still. Dealing with this board is going to be nigh on impossible. And not to mention the fact he only has 2 health left.
That's right, lethal on board, very easily available for board control, and that ain't gonna do it for Zuhex. Easy win brings us up to game 5 in this close series. What I think it's been... I think for the most part, I would have to say there were a couple of things I disagreed with in Spain so far, but I think there were also a couple of things I said were wrong, but were actually definitely correct. Like their play at the end with the Druid, where they were setting up with Elise. Like I said, it was wrong. It was absolutely fine. It gave them a 100% win rate. I was just being stupid. But yeah, overall, I think this is a very, very close and honestly, for the most part, being pretty well played series.
Absolutely. Well, we only have one game remaining, and it's going to be Spain once again with the aggro shaman up against Dead Draw on the warrior. We are going to take one final break before we close this series out, but don't go anywhere. The final game between Spain and the UK coming up. Welcome back to HGG 2019, where it's Game 5 between Spain and the United Kingdom. Spain on the Token Shaman, UK on the N'Zoth Warrior, which has been flailing for the last couple games. But Derek, you were saying before, it's probably a good matchup for the Warrior.
Yeah, I definitely think I like United Kingdom's chances heading into this last game. It is a matchup that's gotten a lot closer when you compare Control Warrior to kind of Token Shaman before we had the Doom and the Tomb rotation of Evolve. Because before that rotation came through, Token Shaman was basically, Jamboree Shaman was basically all you had. It was a strong deck. But for the most part, in my opinion, it was a kind of an anti-priest deck for the most part, was why it was functioning so well. Was the Combo Priest was the tier 1 deck, it preyed on Combo Priest, so people did pretty well with it. And it did terribly against Warrior, because it didn't have enough gas. But the saving grace now is just the strong mid-game that you can push forward with cards, of course, like Hair, Evolve, and Maybe Flesh.
Yep.
And also, if you are an aficionado of the matchup, you will remember Alan 870806, or Alan Numbers, as we affectionately been calling him, playing this matchup super weirdly, where he just didn't do anything for like 20 turns and was still able to win.
Right. I mean, the Shaman does just have the ability to sort of play nothing for ages and then just explode onto the board. with stuff that's too powerful. Against the warrior, I guess the later that happens, the more likely the warrior is to actually have removal. And that's worth thinking about.
Yep. You could see Dedra just kind of reaching over for the town crier and then thinking, oh wait, if I play minions, I might lose. What a state for the game.
Well, it's like the classic Unleash the Hounds thing from ages ago, and then spreading plane, isn't it? Where
Yeah, I guess
typically, I don't think the design philosophy is that you should be punished for playing too many minions, but I guess in the odd case, like Flesh Shaper, it's not so bad.
Yeah. However, it does allow, of course, for Dedra to make some devastatingly powerful turns. Like, this is the strongest curve that Warrior has by an absolute country mile. Zuhek's not even bothering with the hero power there because he's thinking if it's a 1-1, then it just kind of gives more armor to Dedra, so there's not really much point in going for it. And any other one, he just kills it off.
Job's done.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't worth going for hero power there. I wonder if it was worth it just to save himself 2 health, because there's not really any other downside to going for it. Because like if he gives his opponent 2 armor because the 1/3 can attack in, I think that's probably fine. But either way, Zuhek's here, not messing around with it anyway. It's a very, very minor point.
Dedra starting to get that damage in though, funnily enough. There's
Weird.
5 attack on board, ready to go straight to the face.
But if Dedra plays 1 single extra minion, Zuhex will be in prime position to start absolutely dominating this board. Or play directly into Brawl. You can look at it however you want.
I wonder.
Is there any argument to just playing nothing, hero power, smacking the face for the 5 and passing?
Very strong argument for that.
Because if you deal 5 damage a turn, eventually you will just win the game. So.
Right, and the thing is that Zuhex eventually is going to have to make some kind of a power play if he wants back into the game. And I think you could definitely argue that, you know, developing at this point when you might need to brawl next turn is very risky. But even if that happens, Dedra should be able to get at least 1 card off of this Acolyte, and maybe manipulate it to get more with a Warpath.
I wonder.
Zuhex reading it out.
Okay.
Or can he do everything now? Coin Zap guarantees him the
A Voltaic
Voltaic Burst. Yeah. Because he has 1 Evolve in hand. So he'll be guaranteed at least 1 Evolve and 1 Voltaic Burst.
I'm not running Lightning Bolt then. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so Coin, Zap, Burst, Mogu, Evolve. Yeah, that does the job. Gets both Mogus out
It
and
works
evolves them. But
on paper.
does he want to play both Mogus though? Play one.
I think probably,
going
yeah. I
for
think
it.
your best chance of winning is just to go for the all-in play as quick as possible, and then follow up with a backup plan if that doesn't work. But he's got to do it really quick. Okay, we're all good. That's definitely a little underwhelming. I think you can be a little upset with that as Zuhex.
Yeah, I mean, look how strong the mummy is. Just kills Captain Hook Tusk immediately.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true.
With the rover, it can deal with the 7/5 as well.
Yeah, I wonder if you can get away with just not going for the brawl then this turn.
Yeah. Is double Warpath any good? Not really.
Yeah, not quite.
Does Reckless Mummy do enough to prevent you from dying to the Bloodlust? I guess that's the key point here.
Well, it's not playable next turn, so you're all right for the moment against Bloodlust
What now?
Uh-huh.
because of all the overload. Even Vicina, I think, is
by
not
then you've got
playable.
But then you've got the second Reckless Mummy.
That's right. Like we could see Restless Mummy into the Hook Tusk and the Light Spawn, which brings it down to a 2-2, and then you could trade the 3-6 into that. Seems like a fine baseline play.
Leaves the 7-5 alive, but I guess that's not a huge problem.
Yeah. It's bad, don't get me wrong, but it's... I think the fact that you can get away with not using the Brawl here means you should probably take that opportunity.
I'm gonna clear 3 minions instead and deal with the totem.
Okay.
No, he is gonna hit
Sure,
the...
so he's
okay.
I wonder if this is better. This kills off a 2-3 instead of a 2-2, but it leaves a 4-drop instead of a 2-drop on board, which means you're more vulnerable to a Evolve, which 50% of the time they have in hand because they drew a 1-cost spell off the frog. I think I probably slightly preferred killing off the Light Spawn there than the Arcane Serpent, but it's pretty minor. Usually.
Now for Zoo Hex. How do we best set up a potential win with Facina?
I'm not sure, because I cannot see the game. It just dropped for you
I've
as well.
also lost my game feed. So production, if you could help us out with that, that'd be great. I'm gonna look at the stream in the meantime.
Okay.
I can hear the game. I just can't see the game. Now we've heard all the destruction happen. We're gonna watch it.
Well,
I
there goes
have
a
no
war.
idea what's happening.
I have no idea. There's definitely a Warpath thing playing. I know that sound effect, but yeah.
Shall we make a storm?
Well, there is the Warpath. We can cast with a 20-second delay, I suppose.
I don't know. I feel like that's going to annoy Twitch chat even more than our regular casting.
Feel like you're correct.
No tomb can hold me. No tomb can hold me. Shall we make a storm?
I wonder.
Okay, I can see again.
Are we back? We're back.
Unity.
We are back. Background.
There we go.
And Deaddraw does seem to have a grip on this game, at least for now. Zuhex does have the tools to go out of control again very soon with the hair and with the Stormbringer, but in the meantime, Spain aren't really getting the job done.
Yeah, it's really just the case of making two big boards here, because one, as we can clearly see, with the Brawl, not going to be good enough. So can Zuhex scrounge together two big juicy boards before the N'Zoth is able to lock out the game for Deaddraw? It looks pretty uncertain at the moment, and it could rely on what comes off of this ethereal lackey. Because, for example, if we were to see off of this ethereal lackey either a zap or a lightning bolt or a voltaic burst, it could be a Stormbringer turn on this turn.
There is little time.
Or he could, of course, go for a hair plus solar development.
Oh, yeah. This is really nice. If Deaddraw doesn't deal with it, great. If he does, great.
Sure. Okay, I'm on board.
We're gonna see
I like to trade the
Stormbringer
Thunderhead as
turn.
well. Yeah. Because, like, I mean,
Wait,
it
do
makes
we
it
even?
weaker.
Is
Sorry, I was
Visina
going to say
just
that this
better
makes
next
it
turn?
weaker than Ballpark.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Okay. After that, definitely. It just got rid of all the death rat. That is what this did. Okay.
Let's go.
So any arguments as to whether or not Visina is better have just been answered.
Ooh, if he can find himself another Stormbringer or an Evolve.
Cheeky Bloodlust. Heck, even another Soul of the Murloc.
Yeah, it's true. That is none of those things. And I'm probably looking at... My first instinct was definitely just snap Feral Spirit, but maybe Earthshock to get through a Taunt with Reborn is worth it.
What to do?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Feral Spirit and Totemic Might are almost entirely useless, but getting past the Card Suit Defender with Earthshock, that does seem very valuable.
There is little time.
Goes with the Feral Spirit. Alright, ready for 7 King Crushers?
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the Brawl, most minions would just be dealt with, but Death Rattles, King Crush, any charges would be fantastic.
Lawwalker?
Those are none of those things.
No. I mean, there's a
But-
Death Rattle mech on the left side, but there's no mech in Zuhex's hand.
Free Brawl for Zuhex, that's not terrible.
It is.
Or,
terrible.
imagine if the Zentimo survives and that you can go Hair Mutate for a 0 mana Evolve.
Wow.
You're gosh dang right. That's busted. Yeah, was that better than killing off the 1-3? I guess so, Because you want the 1-3 to survive.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It's
Dead
a
Draw is
3-1.
goddamn well, it's a 3-1, and it's also a, what, is that a 6-drop? I can't remember. That's a 6-drop, right? Not a 7-drop. Obliviatron?
It is a 6-drop, that's right. It's dead now, though.
It's
Wow,
dead,
that's over.
yes. I was going to say it could be turned into a 7-drop. I've never played that card once in my life, or even seen it played once in my life. But yeah, that could have been a
This is a great little, like, last Hail Mary, though. Hair into Siege
Oh,
I picked up from
this
this.
is...
Deaddraw doesn't have a way past it yet. I'm not sure how many Death Rattles have been... I'm almost certain we haven't seen a card suit yet.
I guess Zuhex could deviate from the Sea Giant to set up for Visina next turn, but I think that's probably incorrect. I'd rather see Sea Giant on this turn, and then
Yeah.
Visina plus Feral Spirit next turn, probably.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to say this technically puts more stats on the board, but like the Vicina effect is basically charge, so you could just do that next turn anyway. Which I think maybe is slightly superior. But either way, thankfully Zoohex has the Brawl to deal with this Acolyte of Pain without giving it any card draw. I didn't mean that at all.
A lot of damage now gonna come through from Zoohex. A very serious amount.
I wonder.
A lot of damage, yeah. He
22 with the weapon.
to hold on to the Sea Giant here, right? Probably overcommitting to play that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, if he doesn't play it, he ends up playing a 10-mana 8/8 later on. I don't know if that's ever enough to win the game.
I think it might be. Like, if it's Brawl, clearly Dead Draw's hand is dead. Like, if he's playing Acolyte Hero Power, his hand is nothing. So if he top decked the Brawl, maybe that's the end. Maybe this gives him a win if it's up to Defender instead.
Oh, this needs to be a good draw for Dead Draw.
Well, I think if his name suggests anything, it's that it probably won't be. He's wondering if he should go Hero Power Shield Slam on his own Acolyte first to draw 2 cards. Wow, okay, he's going for it. Just because it gives him 2 chances at Brawl, that's the only card that matters.
Or Warpath. It's not bad. Yeah. Oh, and there's the concede. Zoohex and Team take the series. They will be moving on to the winners match, which is going to be coming up a little bit later, I think even tomorrow. Knocking the United Kingdom down into the elimination portion of the bracket. What a crazy series.
That's right. It's going to be up against the winner of France versus Sweden, I believe, which is going to be our next match coming up today. Or is that, yes. And like you said, it's a big win there for Spain at taking down the United Kingdom, because I don't want to just toot my own horn here when I say that United Kingdom is a pretty strong contender now. In previous years, we've been far from the one of the best Hearthstone countries, I think it's fair to say. But now, Dead Draw and Ball Control are putting up some very strong results, and it's sad for me to see them go down. But Spain, I think we're playing some pretty good Hearthstone for the most part there.
It's crazy how Team United Kingdom has evolved throughout the years, honestly, because I don't believe even Ball Control made it onto the team in the first year of HGG. And now, obviously, having Dead Draw is fantastic. But we are going to go to one more break before our final series of the day. As Derek said, it's going to be Sweden versus France coming up.